Hello, everyone. Welcome to Battle Bites. Today, I'm going to talk to you about minimalism and kind of our journey. So our why was that every day we would come home on the drive home from work. I knew that the house was going to look like a tornado went through it, that I would have to help the kids pick up. I was always organizing. And one day, Dee just looked at me and said, I can't even help anymore because it's so overwhelming to me. And another time, a friend came over and she said, wow, you guys just have so much stuff. And that kind of made me stop and think. So I was going to go through and organize and kind of streamline. But I started doing internet searches on living with less. And I think it started out as an organizing. I was searching for something about organizing and I stumbled upon something about minimalism. Dee was naturally more of a minimalist than I was, pretty much lived that way before me. And when I started thinking about the times in my life I was the happiest, one of them was when I had just one daughter. From the time she was a year old until she was 3 years old, we traveled around the country. All that we had was in the vehicle. So I had a box that was clothes that she grew into, a box of toys, my clothes, and we would go to a different place and live there, and I would work. And I was always a nanny, and I cleaned people's houses so I could keep her with me. And it was the least amount of money I ever had, the least amount of belongings I ever had, and one of the happiest times of my life. So we decided to start getting back in touch with that, and I started to minimize. My approach was to call Salvation Army, get to know Brad from Salvation Army, find out that their pickup was every Tuesday in my neighborhood. I scheduled every Tuesday for 6 weeks straight, which gave me accountability. So our 3-car garage was overrun with stuff, things for one child in college or another child going to college, the ones getting ready, the ones that had moved out, we were storing their stuff. I mean, it was just overwhelming and ridiculous. So we broke that down quickly into things we wanted to sell. We had a yard sale, garage sale one weekend. I listed several things on Craigslist. Then we had a section of things that we were donating, and we knew we were donating. And then we had the section of things that we were keeping. What would happen is every weekend I would go through more, and on Monday night I would drag everything out to the driveway, and Tuesday morning I would drive away just overwhelmed with everything that was in my driveway and going through things. And I would get home on Tuesday afternoon and it was gone, and I felt great. I'd have to describe it as feeling lighter. And so that sort of feeling you start wanting more of. Over time, we did the garage sale, we sold stuff on Craigslist, and when we were down to some items that didn't sell, they kind of meandered their way into the donate pile. Meanwhile, I was working on the house as well, especially as space in the garage started to clear up and I had room to even put things there. I started with the easiest sections of the house, the living room, real fast and easy. And the whole time I'm learning more and more about minimalism and what it means. And so I would actually go through things and think, okay, is it useful? Do we use it? And if it's not something like a can opener that you physically use, like a painting on your wall or the stuff your kids made when they were little, is it something that you want because it brings you joy? So that got easier and easier to start letting go of belongings. I got the living room done. It felt so good to walk into the room. Again, you want more of that. I jumped into my closet. I had about 200 pairs of shoes and a couple closets and 3 dressers. And like a lot of people, it was out of control. And I started going through that. I made a deal with myself that I had to try every item on, which I detest, but I stuck to it. And I was doing sections of my clothing and my shoes at the same time I was working on the garage and an area of the house. After living room, I went into closets and bathrooms. Those were a little bit easier to do. You know, something's expired, you use it or it goes. That was pretty easy. And as I was doing the easier areas of the house and feeling so light and free about getting rid of all of this stuff, and the garage was being emptied out and we were selling things that we didn't use, it's almost like you get addicted to that feeling. It feels so euphoric to get rid of your belongings and kind of pare down. I did this for about 3 months, and I had the Salvation Army truck set for 6 weeks, and then I called them a few more times during that time, but it was kind of, we were starting to whittle down. after that first 3 months. Then we found out we were moving, so I had 1 more month to really kind of do another minimalism purge in the house, which was fantastic. It was a blessing in disguise. It wasn't a house that we loved living in or an area that we loved living in, so it was a nice way to make that change. And I'd already gotten so much of the bulk of the belongings done that it was a huge relief too. It came at good timing. So we moved into a house. We went from 2,200 square feet, and we had 12 kids living with us in 2,200 square feet. We were down to 10 kids, and we moved into 1,700 square feet. And it felt bigger and brighter and happier because of the layout of the home and the openness, and also because we didn't have as much. When we moved here into this house, I wanted to give myself all the seasons. When I first started minimizing, it was in February. And I did want to go through each season because I wanted to go through Valentine's Day to pull out the Valentine's Day bucket, and through Easter and through Christmas and every holiday and every season to really see what we used as we were going through that. That made a huge difference, and it was great to give myself time. Every holiday that came up, every season that came up, I would take out those things and go through more. And we've been in this house now for 10 months, and we've done a couple more Salvation Army pickups. We've done several carloads to Goodwill. I always have a bag at the end of our hallway that's for donations. So when kids are going through things, we just kind of add to it. Clothing in our house, because there's 5 teenage girls right now. When one goes through a bag of clothes, the rest of us go through that bag of clothes to see if there's anything that we would like to use, and then it goes to donation. My kids also know that there are places that you can sell your clothing. I have a bag in my car right now that needs to go to a place to try to sell it. If it doesn't sell, it goes. I donate it. I don't wait. But basically, we were so stressed and overwhelmed that something had to give. And what had to give is all of our stuff. And as we've done this now, it's been 15 months since we started our minimalism journey. You have less attachment to belongings. You realize you don't miss them. The sentimental things I thought I was going to miss, I took pictures of. I know if I want to go look at that photo album, I can. I've never opened it, not once. I could delete it and not bat an eye. But in your insecurity of letting things go initially, it helps to take pictures. And then you realize that you're not driving home from work terrified of what the state of your house is going to be like. You're not walking into the house, even if it is messy, from backpacks and shoes and kids playing with toys. The volume is so much smaller that it's not overwhelming to pick up anymore. The kids aren't overwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not spending all my time cleaning and organizing and being irritated. I'm coming home and just enjoying my house and enjoying my family. What minimalism does is it leaves what remains are the things that you love the most in your life. And it frees up your time from these belongings that we allow ourselves to be held accountable to. It releases that. So it's sort of empowering for everyone in the family to get rid of things. And when you look around every room in your home, it's all things that you love, that you enjoy, that you use. And it's never overwhelming anymore. It kind of makes you want to do more. I've gone through the garage twice since we've lived here in 10 months, just through seasons, and we're getting ready to do it again. And this will probably be a much bigger purge because now it has been 15 months. We do know what we've used. We have gone through every season. So it's time to just pony up, take the time, and get rid of things. So you have to figure out what your sweet spot is. I still have 9 children living in my home, which means 9 backpacks, a minimum of 9 pairs of kids' shoes, and generally closer to like 20. They each have a couple pairs of shoes. I'm not going to minimize the same way a single guy who's 28 minimizes, but it is easy to figure out where your comfort zone is, where your reality is, and where that sweet spot is, and then to just kind of maintain it. So much lower stress, much happier place, much just better feelings all the way around. So give it a shot, tackle a room, minimize the crap out of that room, let me know how it goes. Have a great day.